Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. We started this show back in 2017 with a deep thesis, and that was that all businesses need to be digital first, especially brick and mortar businesses. And all businesses are in the hospitality business, whether they know it or not. We've been doing this show for so long. We've had so many incredible entrepreneurs, business owners, restaurateurs, technology professionals on this show. This is the first time that we've ever had a restaurant group and a technology company to present a case study about digital transformation. I am so excited to welcome Maddie Nixon from Luna Grill and Simon Weaver, Chief of Staff of unPLUG Dining. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
So Simon, I'm going to put you on the clock. I told you 60 seconds, but you can go a little bit over 60 if you need to. Let the audience know, who are you and why are you here?
Great. Well, thanks for that. I have multiple relationships with unPLUG as it happens. I started out as an investor a couple of years ago. I liked the vision that Colton and Ali had. I like the people. You invest in people at that stage. Came on board as an advisor last March. And then came on full time in March of this year, helping the company transition from sort of post-product to pre-product to post-product, pre-sales to post-sales. And it's been a fantastic journey. So came on board as chief of staff, wide-ranging role, really leading sort of the sales effort at the moment. 25 years in the industry, mostly high tech, mostly corporate. Cut my teeth at Microsoft as an engineer, did about 11 years there. Had a VP exec roles at both Salesforce and eBay. I've done a few startups, a couple of successful exits. I was co-founder and CTO of a home services startup called HomeX. Got the chance to work with the founder there called Michael Werner of Werner Ladder fame. And we exited the enterprise scheduling business to Service Titan in 2022. And as you can hear from my accent, I'm not a native. But I've been in the US for 20 years. Well, actually, I moved here 20 years ago, and I spent 1 year of those 20 years back in the UK between 10 and 11, where I joined an AI startup, a just a genius called William Tunstall-Beddoe, who had a Q&A startup, and we pivoted the company to create a personal assistant called Evie. I was VP of engineering, ran the technical teams there, to create a personal assistant called Evie. And about 8 months after Evie was born, Amazon acquired the company, acquired the tech, and that team became the basis of the Alexa team, and the technology became the basis of Alexa.
That's amazing. What I'm so excited to talk, that's why we started the show, was because I get to have incredible conversations with people that I would never expect to run into. The things that you guys are doing with Luna, obviously we're going to get into, we're going to share. But Maddie, please let us know what's your role at Luna, when did you start, and just give us why are you here? Set the stage.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm here because I'm stoked to be here. I heard it was going to be a good time, so that's why I'm here. I'm not quite as formal as Simon. I didn't come with a British accent, so you can just call me Maddie. I'll just do Maddie today.
Okay, we'll go with Maddie.
Maddie. I'm the senior digital marketing manager at Luna Grill. Been with the company almost 2 years. So I lead all things digital, really a lot of like third-party delivery, first-party ordering, which now includes the Luna Grill app that's been new and improved via unPLUG, web ordering, email marketing, SMS marketing, all those kinds of things. I have a different background too. I kind of came up within restaurants, working in restaurants in food service, and then was able to transition over to the marketing side of things, which I really like. I think I answered all your questions. I'm not sure. I'm here to learn. So,
well, Maddie, one of the things that I appreciate, how many locations does Luna have across how many states?
Luna Grill has 51 restaurants across California and Texas. So been around, it's actually our 20th birthday this year. So we've grown quite a bit and we're excited to grow more, but 50 restaurants, it's a lot.
So for the audience, I live in San Diego. There are lots of Luna. How many locations in San Diego?
Oh, I think 20-ish, maybe more. Yeah, San Diego is super saturated. We started in San Diego. It's right in our backyard. So my home too.
Well, I live in Eastlake. There are two locations in Eastlake. That's how good Luna Grill is. But I'm heavily biased about Luna Grill. It is a hometown brand that we support. My wife supports, my kids support. We love it. And when this case study came about, our thesis, our deep thesis of how do you have digital transformation, especially in the hospitality business, I was so excited to have you on the show. Now, before I spoke with you and you told me something that I think resonates with everyone in our community that listens to this show, that supports our content, is digital has become so, the show is digital hospitality, digital first.
Mm-hmm.
As a digital marketer, we're talking about what I call 4 C's, which is content, commerce, communication, and community. All of those things live in this digital umbrella, but they also have always lived in a real world.
Right.
Can you talk about your role at Luna Grill, how many people support digital, and how unPLUG has actually helped you guys amplify really the team, a bootstrap team, even though you guys have 51 locations, you really have now, by bringing unPLUG in, it's almost like you've amplified your entire team.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that 4th C there, community, kind of hits the nail on the head. I think a lot of traditional marketing is based on community engagement, and some of my background is that as well. Local community engagement, field marketing, how do you engage the community and get them excited about the brand? Which, if you have 50 locations, that's 50 communities. That's a lot of different places to try to be active, to be engaged and involved. And so digital ends up having a much broader reach. We have 4 people in our marketing department right now. I'm the only one with digital in my title. It's a really, really small team. We're nimble, we're agile, we like to stay moving. And so we found that we can be a lot more strategic and effective if we embody digital strategies and take on campaigns that can have a footprint that reach the entire company, the whole system of all 50 locations. You need digital tools to do that. You have to reach outside of the box, and you can't actually rely on some of the brick and mortar things as well as you used to. So I do think that the technology, the use of unPLUG, all the partnerships that we'll talk about, and those initiatives help us to really just amplify everything we're doing. It's more than just one person standing on the corner with a sign, spinning it around. We can send a text message that goes to thousands and thousands of people. So that call to action around just making sure that our efforts are felt across the entire system. Every restaurant gets to benefit from our 4 marketing people because we have good technology.
So I'm going to share a story. I'm not sure if we're going to edit this out, but I love our community. I love our audience. And like I said, I love Luna Grill. I moved into Eastlake. We're a huge supporter of local restaurants. Obviously, we own local restaurants. And I wanted to order online. And this was back 2019, 2020, first time that I went to the Eastlake location. And I could not navigate the Luna website. So I ended up ordering for pickup through DoorDash. And as a restaurant owner, obviously we advise against that, but I would love, Simon, for you to talk. You invested in the company that you now work at. What was the point of investment? What was the pitch? Tell me when Colton, brought this idea to you of, hey, it's broken. There's a huge pain point that's happening here. Obviously, he didn't know my pain point, but obviously there was enough of a pain point. Where did the Luna unPLUG story happen?
That's a great question. I invested for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the people, but the question here really is about why I invested in the vision. Colton told a compelling story, which I now know to be true, having had significant first-hand experience of it, that there were 2 fundamental problems with the industry as he saw it. The first one was the migration of online ordering to the third parties, to Uber Eats, to DoorDash, and taking the power out of the hands of restaurants, out of these brands, these local brands, these brands that had a physical relationship with their customer but didn't have a digital relationship with their customer. Even now, that feels weird saying that. That's a fundamentally broken thing. And the other aspect, the other problem, was that the ordering experience had become very cookie cutter. A lot of the technology that exists out there is based on fundamentally old systems, and the digital ordering experience isn't just about ordering anymore. It's about an entire experience. It's about loyalty. It's about rewards. It's about a much larger interface than existed in the past. And we see it as much more of a life cycle rather than sort of this linear thing from entry point to order completion. We see it as much more of a life cycle. And Colton really wanted to change that. He really wanted to bring technology to the forefront, and change the way that people interacted in a digital way, solve a couple of problems, be more pertinent and relevant as an experience to the physical experience. So close the gap between the digital and the physical experience, and be compelling enough that folks were more inclined to use the first party experience than the third party experience. I thought that was a pretty compelling reason to spend some money on this company.
Did you have any personal experience as a consumer ordering from any restaurants?
Oh yeah. I mean, COVID.
Yeah, experiencing the frustration firsthand.
Oh yeah. I was very sensitive to the user experience. Being involved in the home services industry while COVID was happening, and watching behaviors change, and watching the huge volume of sort of requests, the huge volume of problems that people had with their houses. I mean, houses aren't designed to have people in them 24/7. And during COVID, they were in their homes 24/7, and a lot of stuff would break. It wasn't engineered to be used in that fashion. And the sort of the use, the high use, the high frustration levels that came across because the technology fell short, I was very sensitive to. And when I was using these third-party applications to bring stuff to me, I'll never order as much food to be delivered to my home ever again than I did during the COVID period. But just seeing the deficiencies, seeing the problems, seeing the timing problems, seeing the menu issues that existed, I appreciate that the technology's moved on since then, but that was a huge opportunity for the industry to really step up. And I feel that in the same way as the same way as existed in home services, that the industry fell somewhat short, and I was surprised, if I'm honest, whenever the experience was seamless. If the food turned up hot when it said it was going to turn up, and there were no problems with the ordering experience, I had an oh wow moment. And I think that speaks to the issues that existed then. I still have issues today. If I can use a first party experience, I have a tendency to use a first party experience, either through mobile web or an application, because it's just more tailored to the restaurant. It's not a cookie cutter thing. I don't think everybody's menu and everybody's experience fits into one framework. It doesn't make sense.
Maddie, for you, when you started working on the unPLUG project, what were the pillars that you were focused on?
Kind of similar to what Simon was mentioning about houses not being, designed to be used all the time. It kind of feels like some of the same thought process here. I think, Luna Grill was a dine-in business before the pandemic, and we had technology that was supplemental and supported that. And then COVID happened, and all of our orders shifted to off-premise. Digital became huge for the business. And so we were left with infrastructure that was meant to kind of be supplemental to a main dine-in business type of model. And so I think some of those, first challenges or first ideas of what do we want to solve for were, okay, how do we make digital the main thing? How do we have infrastructure or how do we transition to technology that's going to support digital as the primary kind of method of the business, of the way that people transact with us? So I think that was one of the first ideas was we need to improve digital ordering. It needs to be more than the afterthought that it was when people didn't order digital as much. And then I kind of think about that personalization piece of it too. At Luna Grill, loyalty is huge for us. I mean, you spoke about being such a loyal fan, which we really appreciate. So thank you. But I think that's something that's so special about Luna Grill. Once people try it, they love it, and it becomes really easy for them to ingrain it into their lifestyle. Beyond just even ordering for the individual, they bring their families, they bring their friends. And so we really like to drive habits, and we really like to then engage with people beyond just that singular visit. There's this life cycle strategy. How do we keep people coming back? How do we keep them engaged? And how do we encourage them to value that too, to see that? And so I think that was this secondary piece is first, we need an ordering platform that makes sense, that works, that is functional, and it needs to encompass the loyalty experience because we don't want to neglect that. If we can't be giving like the best customer service that we give in the restaurant through an ordering experience, it's just not going to work. It needs to be technology that's just as high class as the food we serve, as the service we provide. We want it to feel like an extension of the brand. So those were kind of the two main things: make it work well, and be fun. So.
Hey everyone, Avi Gorin, CEO and co-founder of Marquee, and I want to talk about the customer journey for a second. You never know as a restaurant owner where your guests are truly coming from. End of the day, we do see some patterns around two types of search behaviors: direct versus discovery. Direct search, for an example, would be jumping into Google and saying Cali barbecue hours, right? I know where I want to go to eat, but I'm missing a key detail. I need a little bit more information. Discovery, which is the bulk of searches, is barbecue in San Diego, restaurants near me, takeout near me, right? One of the best ways to be found for more discovery searches is leveraging keywords. Reviews are basically free content for you to leverage. Think about keywords that are relevant to your brand, your location, and include as many of those in your review responses as possible, right? How can you go about doing this? Let's set up reports, utilize tools like Google Trends, find out what's going on in your area and how you can help leverage these keywords and review responses, because someone else is doing that, right? If you need some examples, you could do anything from including summer menu, gluten-free menu, leverage specific menu items like the dreaded and beloved spice pumpkin anything in your review responses, right? Let them know what's coming. Let your reviewers know something they should come back and try. And of course, if all of this just seems overwhelming and daunting because you're already running a restaurant and have enough on your plate, just leverage the team at Marquee to do this for you. We handle all of this. We're experts in this space. We can automate this so it's just another item that you know you are taking care of. Again, that's marquee.com, marquii.com. No U. However, we did recently buy marquii.com. So if you do misspell it, we got you. You'll still find us. We can still help you.
The results are in. National Restaurant Association show. Kyle and Sarah and myself, we were at the Davos sales tax booth and we were polling restaurant owners on the floor. This was a very unscientific poll, but the results are resounding. Restaurant owners do not like sales tax. Nobody likes sales tax. Doesn't matter what business owner you are, small business, big business. Davo automates the sales tax process. We are so grateful that Davo is the sponsor of this show. They automate sales tax at our Cali barbecue restaurants. It is $50 a month. It integrates with all the major point of sale partners, including Toast. So if you want to sleep at night, if you want to not worry about sales tax, go to Davo, check them out, Davo Sales Tax. Let us know how they're helping automate your sales tax in your restaurant so that we can share your Davo story on digital hospitality. Simon, one of the things you shared with me was when you went from investor to now working full-time all the time on this. Can you bring us back to that story of kind of like you're coming to help and you realize how much help you could be, but also how excited you were to help because you saw the product that they were building and you saw specifically what you guys could do for Luna. Can you bring us back to that time?
Yeah, so there were a couple of fundamental realizations that I had. I had anecdotally understood from Colton and Ali that restaurants and consumers were underserved by software in the industry, and coming in firsthand and learning the landscape at an operator level, not an investor level, but as an operator, at an operator level, really sort of opened my eyes to that. And I felt that I was very excited by the idea that this company could, irrespective of features, irrespective of platform, irrespective of capabilities, just up the level in terms of software quality. When we talk to customers, they essentially bring us three buckets, if you like, three buckets of requirements. The first bucket is always geared around, well, not always geared, but in a lot of cases is geared around, we just want reliability. We just want the system to be up. We just want transactions to go through. We just want orders to happen, which for me is pretty amazing. And maybe I'm spoiled with my background, having come from high tech, but it was just amazing to me that the software wasn't serving them in this fundamental fashion, in this very basic fashion. The second problem that we hear or people talk to us about is the sort of the multiple menus problem. So websites have a menu that you can browse through, but you can't order from, and then you go to the order here, and then you can add things to your cart. And it turns out that the bounce rate for that dead-ended menu is really high, and shouldn't surprise anyone.
What is the bounce rate? Do you know?
About 30%.
Wow, that's a lot.
A little north of 30%. I mean, depends on the brand and how motivated people are to get there. But yeah,
how many restaurants have PDF menus? Do you know?
I don't, but it's a lot.
It's too many.
No, Luna Girls do, because
that's assuming they have a functioning
website.
Yeah, it's not even a passive menu; it's actually a document. Yeah, and then the third thing that people bring us is friction. It's just too difficult to get somewhere. Someone clicks order now, they're very excited about looking at the menu, and then they're asked their preferred location, and they're asked whether it's delivery or it's a collection or blah blah, and they lose interest. And so the requirements we get are basically in those three buckets. And I just thought, yeah, okay, I know how to change this.
Yeah.
So that's from a sort of a problem perspective. What was very exciting about Luna is that we had this company that were just full on. They were just baller. They knew they had a good thing, and they knew that they could make it better. And Maddie, she's an absolute dynamo. She's nonstop. And we had a partner here that would just help us elevate it and take it to the next level. Everywhere she looked, she saw opportunity, and it opened our eyes a lot to it. And we kind of got out of the mode of sort of solving problems, if you like, or solving negative problems, and got into the mode of solving positive problems. And for me, those two things combined, the idea that we could make software that was compelling for the industry, that could improve the industry, and that we could elevate the experience to a level we could accelerate businesses, was just really, really compelling to me. And I came on for a brief stint, just to help out. There was there was a lot of nerves about the launch, the initial launch. It was a big deal. And I came on for a brief period of time, and I signed straight up after a month. And it was what I wanted to do.
Bring us into the launch. It was smooth, easy, like all launches.
You would have to.
This is
okay, so I'll be completely transparent. The actual launch on the 18th of March was very smooth. So there was we launched the app on the 18th. We launched both apps on the 18th, and then we did a force update on the 19th, and everything was very smooth. It was actually surprisingly smooth.
That's great.
But the level of anxiety in the company was astronomical.
Both companies, maybe.
Both companies. I mean, the level of anxiety across both companies was astronomical. A lot of people hadn't done this before. A lot of people hadn't done a V1 launch. And a V1 launch is actually a pretty rare thing. One of my complaints about the software industry is that the vast majority of software engineers have only ever worked on someone else's code. They haven't built something from scratch. And there were a lot of members of the team on both the unPLUG side and the Luna side who hadn't done this before. And there was just outright some terror, just unadulterated terror. People were scared shitless of what was going to happen. The reason that they were that scared is because they'd spent the last week stewing, because there wasn't a lot of work to do. We were locked. We were in a software escrow. We weren't adding more features. This was the feature set we were going to launch with. There wasn't a lot to do. So people had sat around for about a week twiddling their thumbs because we pushed the schedule a week because, and anyone who's done this before will be nodding right now because this is a rite of passage. We put our app into the App Store, the Apple App Store, and they bounced it. Now, it only took us 28 hours to resolve all the issues, but much like, a space landing, you have a window to launch and you have a window to land, and if you miss it, you've got to wait for the next one. And we missed our window and we had to push the release a week. So it was very, very interesting that even though the launch was quite successful, people didn't really sort of start enjoying the fact that it had been a successful launch until 2 or 3 days later. The overriding sense was relief. But it was interesting that hiccup, a rite of passage hiccup in a lot of ways, had generated so much anxiety across the companies. So overall, looking back in a year's time, people are going to say the launch was successful. At the time, it was pretty painful.
Well, I really appreciate you transparently sharing. I think our audience and the people that respect the show, the work that we do, will be very grateful because we don't bullshit each other. I mean, we're in the restaurant business. We all know that the magic that happens on the front, like there could be a fire burning in the kitchen and we're lucky to get the food out on the day. A grand opening is always a grand opening. It is what it is. And I appreciate the transparency. Maddie, can you bring us in? Because I want to talk to the restaurant group that might see this interview, that might be thinking about, now is time. We have enough locations. We want to personalize our experience. We want to improve our loyalty. We want to improve this in-store experience that's now an online experience. What kind of fears did Luna have during this launch, and what have you learned since then?
Yeah, I think there were quite a bit of fears because there are 50 restaurants. And so there are a lot of operators who are essentially tech support people. It's more than just the unPLUG team is the tech support team. Anybody who works in a restaurant knows that there are going to be guests who come in and say, this doesn't work, or they're afraid that's going to happen. And then they have their own feelings of, how am I going to help that person? How do I make sure that they can just order? So I think one of the biggest hurdles was first making sure that, our organization was on board and bought in with why we need the change, why we need more technology, and how it's going to help the operators just do their jobs smoothly. What pain points can we alleviate? And I will say unPLUG was fantastic. Like throughout the testing process, they went into the restaurants and they talked to operators and they said, hey, what do you think about this? What feedback can we incorporate? What kind of phone calls do you guys get that you think we can design for on the app so we can alleviate some of these things? Little stuff like, hey, we're going to add a checkbox that says add utensils or something like that, right? Like these little things that were helpful so that we could really show our organization, like, this is more than just a fancy marketing tool. It's really going to hopefully help the brand as a whole, help operators, help, ease of pickup and all of that. So I think initially there was a lot of anxiety around the launch itself, especially when we had to push it. There were people who were waiting. It was more than just me being sad we didn't launch. It was like, okay, we have to tell all 50 restaurants, actually, it's not today. We're going to push it till next week on a slow day and hope that all goes well then. So it was just a lot of, managing expectations a little bit of like keeping people on board and optimistic. I think back to your question of how do you know when now's the time or if it's right to implement this type of technology? I think it just kind of depends on the needs of the brand. And I think for us at Luna Grill, it really felt like we needed to assess what we were going to do to take our growth to the next level. What are the levers that we want to pull to make sure that we can grow? We can be poised for growth location-wise. We can drive volume. How do we need to adjust operationally, whether it's through technology or through menu innovation, to make sure we can get to the next level. And I think that's where technology felt like the right fit for our consumer, who is also ever changing and always incorporating more and more technology into their life. So, you said something once that I heard about, like, if the technology hasn't changed from yesterday to today, it's outdated. And I think that we kind of felt that way with some of our digital experience. Like, our guests are changing, they're growing, they're getting smarter. We want them to come back and keep enjoying the food. How do we just keep up with this? And then once we found the partner to keep up with what was happening, it was great to be able to do even more than that with innovation. Like, now it's more than what we wanted. We can constantly kind of think towards what's next.
So I'm going to share a story about my trip. I just got back from Las Vegas. I drove with the family. We were able to go cover the Big Chicken conference for Shaquille O'Neal. I got to interview him, but driving back, I have my 7-year-old boy, my 5-year-old girl. We didn't have many options. There was no Luna Grill. You guys are you in Marietta?
No, Temecula.
Okay, good. We were in Marietta. We stopped and we went to a McDonald's. And this was a new McDonald's, so they don't have staff. Very kiosk first, hiding the staff behind, very digital first, order on your phone. Like, it was very clear when I walked in, like, we're not going to take your order. Like, you're going to order digitally. And we went through the digital order, and it was an okay experience. But when I compare that to ordering on the unPLUG app, just this week, when I ordered for my wife and I, when I had lunch, I got a bowl and I added shrimp, because you guys have a new shrimp item for your new Mediterranean bowls. And
great plug, Sean. Thank you. And it's really good, right?
It's not a plug. Really, it's not unplugged. This is just real. This is me. Like, I would have ordered it if the digital experience hadn't prompted me to have that option. Simon, can you share, like, inside the secret sauce of, like, how are you bringing this Mediterranean lifestyle so that somebody that orders frequently, I love ordering there, but then you're also giving me a suggestion of something that, hey, maybe you'd like to try something like this in a digital world. I mean, that's literally what we call digital hospitality. It was like I had a server suggesting me something that, Sean, you might like. You already ordered this bowl, but would you like something that's new? I don't know if it's a limited time offer, but it was new. I hadn't seen it before.
So recommendations. I mean, in and of itself, an entire show probably on its own. So I'll just I'll touch on it. It's much easier for repeat customers. It's something that we can provide an extremely good experience to customers who are repeat customers. We get a good understanding of their habits, what they like, what they dislike, and we can build suggestions that are reasonably highly adopted. So recommendations basically come in two buckets. So you've got the menu item recommendation, and then you've got the modifier recommendation or the upsell recommendation. It depends on sort of how you want to describe that. Menu recommendations are dishes that we think fit your profile. So they could be popular dishes. This is what other people that we believe are in your demographic are enjoying. Maybe you could enjoy that, or based on your sole profile on its own. Maybe you're adventurous. We know whether you're adventurous or not from what you order. Maybe we can make wild suggestions and you'll give it a go. The more specific stuff around the modifiers is pretty interesting. The upsell items, those suggestions. Ultimately, from a upsell standpoint, we want to have engagement there. We want people to accept the upsell because we're ultimately trying to increase the check size, but we're trying to do it in a way that's customer first, that's guest first. We don't just want to spray suggestions all over every single customer and have a low hit rate. What we want to do is have an experience that is sympathetic to the one that Luna wants to give, and we only want to make a suggestion if we believe there's a high likelihood that the guest is going to accept it. So we have a lot of capabilities around that. It's capabilities that we're expanding all the time. We've got a good bit of AI working behind the scenes, the recommender systems. And it's something that we're improving the whole time. The one that's kind of interesting to me, and it's a bit unsexy, But I actually like just the straight up recommendations for modifiers. So it's not an upsell, it's not a dish suggestion. It's, recommending what modifiers someone might like, and even changing the order in which the modifiers are applied based on the user's behavior. So you're in some ways reducing friction, but you're just making it easier for the customer. And for me, ease is very important. A lot of people want to focus on maximizing check size. A lot of people want to, focus on, various things. I just want to make it easy. I want to make it very, very straightforward. I want to take away all the friction. I want to late bind all of the boring decisions to as far into the ordering experience as possible, and I want to make that ordering experience delightful. And ordering the modifiers, changing the modifiers, making suggestions to the modifiers, again, a very unsexy space. But if you get that right, I believe we're going to see a very significant conversion rate for people entering the ordering experience and exiting it as well.
It took me too long to modify my children's hamburger at McDonald's. Like I had to take off the ketchup, and then I had to go back into the cart, and then I had to go and take off the onions, and I had like, for me, somebody that like I live and breathe digital hospitality, I'm like, McDonald's definitely, they have to be able to fix this. This can't be this hard, because if I wasn't there, I know my wife would have been way too frustrated to get through those modifiers to be able to, make sure our kids got the burgers the way that they wanted them.
Yeah, I think McDonald's has innovated a lot over its lifetime. I think they're great innovators. I think that they fall short in digital at the moment. And I'm just anyone who's used the kiosk will know this. I don't like that you have to tell it that you're not willing to log on twice before you'll start.
True. We did that.
Once is enough, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
I don't know whether you'll keep that in or not, but
we keep everything in unless told otherwise. But
okay.
our audience appreciates the raw authenticity of. I mean, this is the truth, and we appreciate you guys sharing the truth. And Maddie, can you tell me about deep linking? What's deep linking? Why should anybody care? Why does it matter? Why does it matter to digital hospitality? How do you use it?
Deep linking is just the reason I get up in the morning.
To click to cart, baby.
Yes, that and the modifiers. I mean, I think without that, deep linking is purpose. It's the answer to life. Deep linking for me is a way to strengthen the marketing strategies that we have from SMS, which is, kind of an emerging industry in itself of SMS marketing using that tool, and then our existing loyalty guests. So with the power of a deep link, I can send a text out to SMS subscribers who are loyalty members, or maybe they're not yet loyalty members, and the text will contain a link that then prompts them to open the app on their phone. This was huge for us. When I got to Lunar Grill, there was an established SMS marketing program. It had been around for about a year, and we had an online ordering website. And then separately, we had our loyalty universe, which is quite large. Lunar Grill's been around for 20 years. We have super, super loyal fans. So my question was like, okay, when I send them texts, how do I make sure that like these people are ordering on the app? And there really wasn't a solve for that, because we were texting out links to our online ordering site where you're not at all really incentivized at the time to log in. The UX wasn't as easy as the app itself, and especially our new app. And so the goal was really like, how do we engage our loyalty members who are so loyal that they're also subscribed to text? So if you're subscribed to text and I send you a text, I want you to be able to transact with us as a loyalty guest, so you get the full benefits of that. So that your transaction, you've automatically earned points on, you're going to be able to redeem your rewards and all that. So the deep link really kind of blends those together. Being able to send a text that then you click on, it opens your phone. In your phone, you can see your points. You see that like you have a reward waiting there for you. And then we have full visibility on those transactions as loyalty transactions. I think it's really changed how we market completely in terms of making sure that our loyalty guests are interested in text, and that when we text, they transact as loyalty, they get more out of the program, they're more engaged with the program. It's really kind of bridged the two of those so that SMS becomes like an agent of loyalty itself and vice versa.
We're doing a case study. Unplug. I need one statistic. Give me one compelling statistic why a restaurant group should care about this digital case study that Luna has done with Unplug.
Single statistic. If I was going to pick a single statistic, and I may follow it up with more, but if I was going to pick a single statistic, we have seen the count of mobile app orders outgrow the year-by-year projections, and that's the expected increase from the year before. We've seen the mobile app orders exceed that projection by 12.6%, and we haven't seen average order value fall either. Average order value has gone up a little bit, but we've seen that count go up by 12.6%. There's a few other statistics I can add here. We've seen, well, actually, there's one other statistic that I'd really like to add because I think it speaks to the ordering life cycle. We've seen loyalty signups increase year over year by 18%, and that's again that speaks to the ordering experience and how we've been able to really weave loyalty into it. The one that I like is the sales from checking in at the POS. From Q1 to Q2, this has doubled, and I know this is one that Maddie likes, so I'm not going to say too much because she can wax lyrical better about this. But from a fundamental level, what I really love about this is it demonstrates that a digital experience that's geared towards the brand's experience can change the physical behavior of a guest. Part of our sales pitch, over the last few months has been about the variation or the deviation between the physical experience in store and the digital experience online. You've got the experience in store, which is highly cultivated, which is very geared around a vision. And then you've got the digital experience, which is generally a rinse and repeat of some cookie cutter supplier, some cookie cutter provider. And part of our sales pitch used to be, we want to close that gap. And now we have compelling evidence that when you close that gap, you can change guest behavior. And for me, the top line numbers are fantastic. Yeah, 70% over and above projections for sales is absolutely colossal. It's amazing. It was better than anybody could have wanted. But our ability to change the guest behavior, the physical guest behavior, I think speaks to the real power of the platform, and speaks to speaks to what can happen if you bring together the right minds, bring together Luna with their clear vision, bring together unPLUG, and go into sales mode a little bit. It brings together Luna with their clear vision, unPLUG with our clear vision, and bring that together, and all of a sudden you've got a result that people wished for but no one could have predicted, and it's happened.
And I think it's totally right. It almost feels like a side effect. Like there was this thing happening that we didn't quite notice until after the fact, which is, I think we created an occasion. Like sometimes people talk about how do you drive day part? How do you get people in for lunch or get them in for dinner or vice versa? I think what we ended up seeing is the technology is strong enough that we created additional occasions that now people come to the restaurant. We were thinking we're going to have an amazing app. It's going to help us with digital orders. We're going to get a lot of orders on the app. It's going to be perfect for our digital guests. And then all of a sudden we're noticing like, yes, that's happening and it's great, but people are also taking the app. And when they go to the restaurant with their kids or their family or their friends, they check in on the app for their dine-in transaction. And that's where we've seen so much growth that it's surprising and it's crazy. And it almost feels like it's, reflecting back to those pre-COVID times. It's like, okay, is there a shift in dine-in and what's happening here? But it's both. It's like, yes, actually, I want to order digitally because I need to pick up my lunch really quick. And so I'm going to order ahead. But also I want to go there on Wednesday night for Kids Eat Free. And I'm going to bring my kids and I'm going to check in on the app. I'm going to get points for my purchase. We're going to have a nice place to sit. And so I think for us, it helped kind of drive that frequency and reinforce this behavior of like, yeah, you want to eat here and we want you to be rewarded for it regardless of how you're dining. If it's to go or it's delivery or you're sitting right in our dining room, you're going to get to experience the new technology, and people are stoked to use it. So I think it's just been a surprise. It's something we weren't really planning for. It was a feature we built and developed of like, okay, we have to make sure we have that, and let's get that in there and get it built. And now it's like, oh, that's one of the main features that people love about it. We're doing some brand research right now, which has been interesting just on menu itself. And one of the things that we've heard people say is they have the app, and sometimes they'll look at the app and think about what they want to order. And then they go into the restaurant because they still like talking to somebody or placing their order in person, but they use the app to check in. And that to me is like beating the PDF menus, right? It's like, okay, great. Even if you're not transacting on the app, you're still using it. And we love that.
Can you share about the Mediterranean lifestyle assistant, the allergens?
Yeah, I would love to. And I think that it felt really relevant to me when Simon was talking about, modifiers a little bit or upsells and the suggestions. And I think that to me with lifestyle kind of feels like some of the driving occasion. So, it seems like we're seeing trends in food right now where people are kind of closing their wallets a little bit, but they're still going out to those better for you options. And I think that's where Luna Grill is really unique. We have a really wide menu. We have signature plates with proteins that are grilled to order. We have bowls, we have salads, we have pitas. We do have French fries for people who want something like more indulgent or for their kids. So we have a really broad menu. Would you say?
You have phenomenal fries.
Thank you.
Have the best fries in the game, so don't discredit the fries at Luna Grill.
Don't sleep on the fries. Yeah, absolutely. The dining assistant may not suggest them to you, but maybe if you're on a carb heavy day, why not? So, but I think that's something that we've really tried to tap into, like over the past few years, is a health and wellness approach of like people who want food that's really good for them, and they want a value in that. They want to know that the food's high quality because they're spending their hard-earned money. It needs to be good for them. And we want to tailor to whatever their lifestyle is. I think that feature set of the dining assistant being able to, filter the menu then, like these are the options that are best for you based on your dietary habits, based off of the amount of protein you want to eat in the day, whether or not you can eat gluten, all of that then drives more occasion. It drives more frequency. You know what's available for you. The ease of transacting there, Simon was kind of talking about that. It's set up, it's ready to go. I can put in what I want. If I need a vegan option or whatever, it's right there on the menu. And I think it just makes it easier for people to understand that they can fit the Mediterranean lifestyle or whatever their lifestyle is into their life. And they can use the technology to do the thinking for them.
So we have a big show that's coming up. FS Tech, unPLUG. Why? We have a lot of incredible restaurateurs, a lot of friends in the digital hospitality ecosystem that will be in Texas for FS Tech. Why do they need to come to unPLUG? What's going on?
Well, this is our big coming out party. This is our first major conference since we've launched. We're incredibly excited to be there. We're bringing our whole team. So yeah, we're going to be in Grapevine. I've never been to Grapevine before, so looking forward to that. So we're bringing our chief executive, Colton Frank. We're bringing our head of business development, Brett Asselstein, and we're bringing one of our advisors, out of an industry advisor, Oliver Lee. He's got a fantastic resume, Omnivore, Postmates, Punch, ClearCogs. He joined us a couple of months back, a bit longer than that, as an advisor. He liked what we were doing. We struck up a good relationship, and he's coming as well. So there's going to be 4 of us. We're going to have a booth. I think it's I've got to get this the right way around because it's not AI, it's IA 40 in Startup Alley. And come and talk to us. Come and say hi. If you've got problems, we can talk about your problems, and how we can solve your problems. If you've got a big digital vision, if you're Luna-esque and you want to go and change the world digitally, and you've got a big vision, let's have a conversation about how we can enable you to do that. We'd love to have that conversation. We're full of ideas. We've got a platform that's absolutely cutting edge, brand new, written with the latest techniques. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, and we just love to have a conversation. We'd love to start a conversation and take it from there, see where it goes.
Amazing. How did people get in touch with you?
unplugdining.com. I'm Simon Weaver at unplugdining.com. We're highly available on LinkedIn. Reach out to us. Obviously, Colton, Oliver, and Brett are all on LinkedIn. We're relatively easy to get hold of. There's the form to reach out to us on unplugdining.com. Hit us up in any way, shape, or form. I dropped my cell number here, but apparently that's poor taste. But yeah, just reach out to us, and we'll start a conversation. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a really painful, embarrassing problem that you've got. Come talk to us. You wouldn't believe the shit that we've heard. There are some people who are really struggling out there, and if it's some wacky grand vision, come bring that to us as well. Honestly, I promise you that there's been more than one occasion where Maddie wasn't sure whether she was going to share the idea with us, and she did, and it's turned into something great. Don't be shy. Come talk to us. We want to hear your story. We want to share our story.
And Maddie, what's the best way for people to interact with Luna Grill and interact with you? I mean, there's marketers, we feel like we're alone on an island, but we believe a rising tide lifts all ships. I appreciate your dedication to this show, sharing transparently what you guys are building, why you're building it. Like I said, we're huge fans. We can't wait to see what Luna does in the next 20 years. If you guys have done what you've done this 20 years, how can people keep in touch with Luna?
Yeah, our 20th birthday. So first you can download the Luna Grill app. You could first do that, and then you'll be subscribed to everything. You can follow us on Instagram. We're on TikTok as well, just at Luna Grill. And I'm also on LinkedIn, happy to answer any questions anybody has about unPLUG and working with these guys. It's been a great journey. It's been a great ride. And we're just really excited to see what else it can do for Luna Grill. We kind of refer to ourselves as lunatics. I think I've earned that title with unPLUG. Every week I earn my badge as a lunatic. We have something more crazy than the last. So just keep watching. Let's see what we do.
And just for everybody that's watching, I was able to meet Colton and Ollie and Brett all at the Eastlake Luna. They told me about what they were building. I downloaded the app. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time if I don't believe in the people that come onto this show. You guys have been awesome. I can't wait to see what you build. Simon, you've been a rock star. Thank you for dealing with my bullshit and my putting up with me. But we're grateful because we believe in building in public, and we know that this shit is not easy. These are big goals and big things that we're trying to do for the restaurant industry, and we can't do it alone. We got to have smart people around us, and that's why we're trying to align and build a show that does that. So thank you guys for doing that. Please go to unPLUG at FS Tech, and any other shows in the future. This is the show.
This is the show. This is the last big one of the year, as you know. We I don't want to open Pandora's box too much, but we've got a pretty aggressive growth plan, and that involves getting out there a lot. So we're getting over the course of the next couple of months, we're getting our schedule lined up for which shows we'll be at next year. But we're going to be on the road a lot next year.
And you're going to be online posting content.
I'm waiting for
starting with my profile picture.
Yes. I want a Simon Says series. That's what I want. Simon Says.
Simon Says every day, 365 days of Simon Says.
Simon Says.
Well, the first one would be come to FS Tech.
There you go. Simon Says, go to FS Tech. Yeah. Awesome. Now you have to, because Simon said.
Simon said. We appreciate you. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you want to reach out to me, I'm weirdly available at Sean P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Simon. You guys are awesome. FS Tech. It's go time.
Go time. Thank you so much for having us. It's been an absolute joy.
Got it.
Thanks, Sean.